Hi everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California, and my buckets have arrived. Okay, don't panic. I know for some of you that want the short videos, just because I'm sitting down doesn't mean this is going to be 45 minutes. It won't be. I just thought I'd make myself comfortable, take something to drink, and then just talk about my buckets and what I'm going to do this year. We're right in the middle of winter, and we are going to be 80 degrees plus for the next week. It doesn't mean I can run out and plant everything, because the following week we could be down to 40. Today I'm going to talk about my buckets. My buckets have arrived. This year I want to bring color into our lives. Lots of color. I think color makes you feel good when you see all this color, and when you see food growing with color, it just makes me feel good. And it gives you an option of things you may want to do too. So let's talk about buckets first. Let me show you the sizes, and then we'll get into what I'm going to do with buckets. The common size that you can go into almost any store and get is a 5-gallon bucket. Now this one I got from Uline. That's the name of the company. I like their buckets. They're heavy duty. They are a number 2. They're food grade buckets, and they are fantastic for me to grow in. So I like these. You'll notice how thick they are and how well made they are. And those are $5, about $5. You can go to Walmart. You can go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Target. A lot of places have buckets. This one's about $3. You could see the rims a little bit, smaller. The handle may not be as strong. It's a little bit thinner, but you know what? This for $3 will do the job for me. You don't want to leave a bucket empty out in the sun, because just like a tote or any other plastic type of container, most any container, the sun will eventually, break it down. But when you've got soil in it, it keeps the plastic soft, because you're going to water it even if nothing's growing in it. Now, if you're just storing leaves or different things around the yard, just put it in the shade and you'll be fine. But you can get these buckets anywhere. See, Walmart carries this white bucket that actually has a sticker on it that says food grade. But it's the same bucket, it's the same triangle on the bottom too, and the same code. They just put a sticker on it to let you know. Now, this is where I got so excited. Look at these, look at these. This one is 3.5 gallons, and this one is 2 gallons. Now, these are gonna be doing different jobs for me. This one's perfect if I wanted to grow parsley, walking onions, even radishes and carrots in it. If I didn't want to fill, a big bucket, because look at the size difference. You are talking major size difference. And with that, you're going to save on soil. Soil can be expensive. Now, I make my own soil, but I still buy some soil. You could do it whatever way you want, whatever works for you. That's the most important thing. But this one would use less soil, and it would do the same job for certain plants that this one will do. This one you would want to grow a watermelon in, maybe, and squash, zucchini, bigger plants, tomatoes. You could do a tomato in this too. This is the one that you would get more soil in, so the roots will have more places to go. So that's the 5-gallon. Now the 2-gallon, this is going to be different. Now you still can grow smaller things. This would be perfectly fine for onions and some radishes and carrots and smaller herbs, and you could decorate it, because look at all the colors that they come in. The 5-gallon buckets, going back to them, they have a couple extra colors, mainly purple, but you know what? The purple and the blue, which is a dark blue, this one, are fairly close. So I would have liked it a little more lighter, but it's okay. So that one comes in purple. The smaller buckets are limited in colors. They don't have purple. They got everything else, so it works perfect. But this, oh my gosh, this is going to do something different for me. This is going to be going in a lot of my totes that I have, and I've got totes all over. I'm not giving up my totes. I'm getting into something else with totes too, added. You'll see soon. This, I can set this up by going around the yard like I did here, collecting leaves, then topping this with some soil, putting something in here to grow. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be a cutting off another plant. It could be flowers. It could be radishes, carrots. It could be parsley, walking onions. But this is going to be used for layering. This one is going to have holes on the bottom. This is how I'll get into this later more, but holes on the bottom. So when I water my bucket here, it's going to not only water my tote, but it's going to feed the plants in there as well. This is going to be a constant food source for my plants growing all spring, all summer, and well in the fall. What I wanted to also say is these buckets that you can get that are 2 gallons, these are 2 gallon. You can go to Home Depot and Lowe's. They have 2-gallon buckets too, and they're about $3 there too, so you don't have to order them online. I had to order quite a few, but I wanted to order colors. I'm experimenting with a lot of things. I'm enhancing a lot of stuff I did last year that I found fantastic and easy. Everything we do in our garden has to be easy, because if I don't make it easy and I make it a back-breaking chore, be honest, I won't do it, and neither would you probably. These will be basically the same. This is the 3.5-gallon bucket. This will be used basically the same like my 5 gallons. I could layer this, but if you see, it takes up so much more room, so I may not want to put a bucket in the tote unless I have a big tote. But this one I'm going to grow in just as I would the 5-gallon. You know, going by the holes, where I'm going to put the holes on these, all buckets need holes. Keep that in mind. All buckets need holes. But the point is, I'm not sure yet if the holes will be up a little bit, so it will retain a little bit of water, or if the holes will be on the bottom. I am constantly battling nature when it comes to all the trees around me, because they find what I'm growing, be it in the ground, be it in a container. If I put holes on the bottom, in a matter of 2 months or less, these trees, these pine trees, these pepper trees, these carrot woods, all of them, find my containers, which is not a problem if they would just simply park themselves underneath and enjoy some of the water coming out of the containers, but they don't. They go inside, and then they swell up their roots, and they stop the water sometimes coming out, and I may not notice it in the beginning, and they feed off of what's in the bucket, be it food and water, but they end up drowning my plants and also taking all the nutrients from my plants. The easiest thing with buckets is just move them. Just grab it, move it, check them periodically, and make sure there's no roots in there. But that's why I really like buckets, and the containers, I've had to move some of them because the roots got in there. Now you have that problem when you plant in the ground. When you plant in the ground and you've got a lot of trees in the area, depending on the trees, they'll do the same thing. They'll find, oh wow, look, this person, well, you know, they're not thinking in that direction, but let's just say they've got all this stuff planted, and they send their roots there, and they wrap themselves all around your beautiful growing plants in the ground, and then you think, why are my plants not growing? Why don't they look healthy? What is going on? Well, it's nothing you're doing, it's nature. They can send their roots far. They can go 20, 30 feet to look for that water that you put out. But if they can't get into your containers, then you've got it made, because then they can't invade your containers. All they can do is park their roots underneath without hurting anything. So that's why it will depend for you, what will work best for you as far as where you want to put your holes. Now, if you don't want to grow in buckets, I don't care. Think of it as a vessel, a container. You can grow in whatever you want. Over here, let me see if I can bring my camera over here. I have other containers there. And I've got totes, and I've got these troughs. Now you can buy these black troughs, and they come in all different colors as well, and you can grow in there. They look really cool. They look really nice. They almost look like a flower pot. And they can be as little as $5. They're a number 5, but they are fine too. When you go to the grocery store, all your food products, be it hot or cold, are usually in 5s or 2s, and they are perfect to grow in. Same thing, think about where you want to put the holes. You've got to put holes, because if it rains or you water too much and the water sits, it could rot out your plants and cause more harm than good. So you will have to decide where you want to put the holes in there. But the buckets are just another growing medium. Now, let's say you don't, no matter what, want to grow in a bucket. You want to grow in the ground. I grow in the ground too. I have got zucchini this past year that grew that big, and they were in the ground, and you know what? A lot of places they only had that much soil because my driveway is cement. It's blacktop, and they don't have enough place to set their roots. But they grew really fantastic. And all the leaves that fell and broke down on the sides by the wall, my block wall here, only that much soil, I got zucchini, and it's still growing in the ground. Now you think, how can it grow with such a small amount of soil? That's less than a 3.5 gallon bucket. It didn't even have that much soil. Because I planted the zucchini right next to a container, one of my totes, the storage containers. By being planted right next to it and watering my storage container, the water was going down and out, and not only was it watering my zucchini, it was feeding it almost every day. If I watered every day in the summer, then that zucchini plant, that squash, was getting all that food, nutrients, because remember, rotting leaves and everything I compost in place, that's a constant food source. So they would just grow and grow and grow. They grew so big that some of them are still sitting out there because I don't know what to do with them, but it's okay. You overgrow, you could do what we do. We have given some food to some of our neighbors and friends. But whatever you don't use goes back to the soil and becomes your soil. It's not only free soil, it's organic if you're not using pesticides, and it's the richest soil because it's coming from your garden. You know everything about it, and the only thing you've got to do is be careful, because when the seeds get into the ground and from your plants that you didn't use, you'll end up with, like me, tomato plants and celery and even zucchini coming up everywhere around the yard that I didn't plant. No biggie. If you really don't want it, you can pop them out, plant them somewhere else, or compost them and return them back to the soil to become soil. Now, if you want to grow in grow bags, that's absolutely beautiful. Grow bags now come in all different colors. They're easy to move around. Some people like them because they're light. Personally, for us, it doesn't work good. And the only reason it doesn't work good in the grow bags is it's a fabric type material, and we can get quite warm in the summer and in the fall, and the evaporation is coming from all around the grow bag as well as the top. So a lot of people set up automatic watering systems when they have a grow bag. So they've got, their hose in there, and it waters them automatically because they do go through a lot of water. If you're in an area that stays fairly cool, is very humid, then a grow bag will work good for you. But for us, being so dry, it won't work that well because they dry out so fast. When it comes to containers, be it any shape container really for us, be it a tote, one of those troughs or buckets, there's only one place that these can evaporate from, and it's from the top. So if you're growing in the top and you water in the top, all this around the bucket, everything inside will stay damp. And there's times during this winter now, like I normally in the summer water every day. I love watering. It's relaxing to me and everything. But if I was doing grow bags, I would have to water probably twice a day, and I would have to water all year at least once or twice every couple days. Here, I've been going all winter only watering once a week now because we haven't been so dry and hot. And the point is, the containers have been staying really damp inside, so I check them, I stick my finger in. If it's damp, I don't water it. So I've been watering about once a week, and strictly going through and watering my containers. And remember, when you grow in a container, you're watering your plant. When you grow in the ground, sometimes the water drifts off, and when it drifts off, it creates its own little river, its own channel, and it can be done by nature, it can be done by ants. Sometimes you think you're watering your plant that's in there, and what you're actually doing is watering. It's been channeled off somewhere else, and you're watering and watering, wondering what's going on. Well, the water is leaving. When you grow in a container, it can't do that. It will really water your plants. That's why a lot of times I pop bottoms out, planted in a container in the ground, and I know that the plant is getting the water that way. That's basically it. I wanted to kind of touch base with you, show you that my buckets came. This has been fantastic. I have so many plans. I will share everything with you all spring as we start to grow. I feel like running out and growing right now, being that we've been, in the 70s, we're going to be in the 80s. But here's the thing. I know how Mother Nature is. And the moment I would break my back, and get out there and plant everything, she'll bring a nice rain with hail and winter of 40 degrees, and my plants will say, Even though a lot of them will probably just go dormant and come back later, I'll wait. I'll start getting my plants together. I'll start getting this all set up. I am making a brand new garden I'm going to take you with me, and I'm going to call it the Rainbow Garden. Gee, I wonder why. My hat's all full of colors. My buckets are full of colors. I think there's going to be nothing more fun for me is to have a rainbow garden with all kinds of food growing. And you know what? If you really don't want to grow in a bucket, go ahead and make a solar fountain out of one of these, because they make great solar fountains too. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope I've given you some ideas. Follow us. You know, the best thing to do is subscribe, hit that bell, because I'm going to be going on live doing some cooking now and showing you where our food is going and how we're using it. And I never know when I'm going to go on live. So if you subscribed and you hit that bell, you'll get a little ding, and if you want to see what I'm doing, and you'll see different things that I may come on live and do. That's up to you. And if you don't have an account with YouTube, you can't subscribe, but that's all right. I've said it before. My mother doesn't have an account. She just has to know what I'm going on when I tell her. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you can give this a thumbs up. If not, have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.